Welcome to the Doctor Who 4-Minute Follow-Up Friday. In this series, I'm going to present my favourites of different aspects of Doctor Who suggested by the episode we just watched and reviewed this week. And in this episode, I'm going to give you my top 5 post-regeneration stories from Doctor Who throughout its history. Let's crack on. Number 5 is the episode Castrovalva, which introduced Peter Davison as the Doctor. There is a lot there's a lot in this episode which doesn't really come off. We spend too much time with the Doctor playing around with green screen levitations in the Zero Room. The Doctor spends too much of it asleep. But the crazy Castrovalva village that we visit, the mad people in there, the weird Escher-like geometry of the place, are all really interesting and appealing puzzles for the Doctor to solve. And again, Peter Davison, my Doctor, has to get a special mention in this list. Number 4 is Robot, with Tom Baker as the Doctor. Robot is basically doing King Kong meets Frankenstein's monster, but as a robot, which is quite funky and weird and quite fun. But this episode really stands out for Tom Baker's performance. It is electric from the very get-go. We have the mad wardrobe changing scene where he turns up as a Viking and a clown before settling on his classic costume. We have the skipping scene with Harry. There's just a frenetic, charismatic energy that Tom Baker just exudes naturally. Episode 3 on the list is The Christmas Invasion. This is another one where perhaps some people will suggest it doesn't belong on the list because the Doctor spends so long of it asleep. But I think at this point in the series, we really like Rose, and she is enough to carry the story on the grounds that she can't carry the story. I think it's a very interesting dynamic for the episode. And the whole build-up to that moment when the doors of the TARDIS spring open and Ten first walks out in his prototype costume, these pinstripe pyjamas and dressing gown, suggesting his costume that he will eventually wear. He has his Lion King moment, he has his sword fight, he has a this hand's a fighting hand moment. I love The Christmas Invasion. I think it's really well done. My favourite of the classic era post-regenerative stories comes in at number 2, and that is The Spearhead from Space with John Pertwee. It is such a departure from what we saw with Patrick Troughton. It really revitalises the show, and John Pertwee, although he spends a lot of the time asleep, a bit of a theme for this. When we eventually get him, his eyebrow wiggling, his singing in the shower, bizarrely, it's great. And the Autons are a fantastic villain, one of those villains which ended up recurring, not just in Classic Who, but it made the jump to New Who as well. But my favourite episode for post-regeneration has got to be The 11th Hour. Say what you like about Stephen Moffat's era, The 11th Hour introduces Matt Smith in such a creative, inventive way, establishes a relationship with Amy that spans years, all in the space of a single episode. We get his trademark comedy chops on show, but we also get that sense of alien from him and the boy's own adventure style that he really tackles a lot of his problems head on with. So there we go, that is my rundown of my favourite post-regenerative stories across all of Doctor Who. Did I miss out any of your favourites? Leave a comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like if you like, do those things. Brilliant. See you next week for a review of the second episode of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who series. Cheers.